Boss is removing WFH. My boss is forcing everyone back into the office full time and had the audacity to tell us the vacation is over. We work 40 hours a week and sometimes put in overtime. Going into the office is gonna add 1.5 hours to my day and cost me a few thousand a year. Plus, it's gonna ruin my mental health that's been improving gradually the past several months since going WFH. I can do everything from home. Why don't bosses just allow us to do our job and be happy at the same time? When my company tried that last year, most of the WFH employee teamed up and sent in emails saying they would quit before coming back. 75 sent these emails and it scared the higher-ups, so they backed off. Time for everyone's production to drop drastically because the vacation is over for your boss and he doesn't even know it. I know you've never been more productive, but my assistant needs to time your breaks. Your co-workers can't brown-nose me over Zoom. We're paying high rent for this space, so I'm going to have to insist you return to the office even though it's an hour commute each way. The vacation is over crack was offensive. I think there's still the stigma out there that people aren't as productive at home as they are in the office. Because people never goof off in the office. I don't get this mindset. The company I work for sold the majority of office space or didn't renew the lease. We now have nowhere to return to, and I am thankful for this tiny ray of sunshine in the shitstorm. Quit and get a remote job. Just don't. Make them fire you for working from home. They might just not, if the work is getting done. Depression is on aid accommodations. WFH costs them nothing and you've proved you can be productive. I am one of those who have severe depression, and damn straight in office causes me to spiral bad. Boss needs people around to validate his role. File an aid accommodation request to WFH. I'd find a new job, even if it's not WFH, just to show your boss that attitude isn't going to be tolerated from the workers anymore. Just reduce your output to cover what you're losing. The mandatory suffering is important to them. They have to remind you who's in charge. Also, real estate is expensive. Gotta justify it. Remember, your boss is not your friend. I'm 60 and I'm not ever taking a commuting job again. I'll retire early and take the hit if it comes to that. Commuting stole countless hours from me. Not just the commute and the expense of commuting. The prepping for the office and meals every single day. The sheer soul-crushing slog is just a horror. Typical bullshit out of touch mentality. Hey you fucks, we're paying for an empty building, get back in there and validate our stupid decision. Keep working from home emo. All they can do is fire you. I tell your boss that his vacation is over comment was insensitive. Complete lack of respect for the time his employees put into the company. Fuck them. Hate these boomer fucks. I don't understand the thinking let's make the employees less happy, restrict our available talent pool to a small area, and offer lesser benefits than our competitors. What could possibly go wrong? Companies are paying for empty office space. Management style. Some managers just need to see you working, otherwise they don't think you are. My company called it return to work, like we were off for the past 2 years. They went from anyone who isn't customer facing will be 100 remote to everyone is remote 1 day a week. Unionize and tell him cheap labor is over. Send an email to everyone asking if they'll reimburse for gas and commute time. Keep in mind when following my advice that I do not consider the consequences of my actions. How many others is this affecting? They are likely equally as unhappy as you. Organize and say no. Boss cares about getting his narcissistic supply more than about getting the most productivity and benefit for the company. Ask for a raise to compensate the loss of funds due to commute and ever-rising price of fuel. That doesn't compare to running your computer all day. Your cost of living is going to go up. Because they pay for a big old building they don't really need anymore, and they don't like that, so you better come and sit in the building so they can babysit you while you do your job. Fuck 'em, find another job. Yeah, it's a power trip. They need to see you working to believe it. My company tried doing something like and the whole dev QA team said they would quit working in the office. Never heard from the CEO again about it. Time to slow down. If they want you in the office, then spend lots of time socializing and working at 50 speed. Just being under fluorescent lights gives me a blinding headache and sucks my productivity immensely. Work less hard in office to recoup your losses of a few thousand and maintain mental health. Any douche-canoe that thinks working from home is a vacation is going to make many, many mistakes. Better off starting the job search. Because the business needs to justify the expense of renting the property, also happy employees will have the energy at the end of the day to search for a better job. You'd be surprised people close to retirement are done with office politics and micromanaging. I'd ask the rest of them and offer to write the letter if everyone signs. When a manager has no one in the building to manage, makes them vulnerable. Vacation is over? How fucking obnoxious. Make sure his vacation is over too. Try to make return to office as complicated as possible. I'll let you in on a secret, your company is in trouble and they need to do layoffs, but know that's going to signal to the market how much trouble they're in. WFH is more productive, that's now established fact. It's also something employees will quit over. That's the root cause of return to work, it's downsizing masquerading as boomer ignorance. It's about power and control. It's harder to intimidate an employee if they're in their home office. Funny enough, studies just recently confirmed that top-down demands for return to office invariably leads to increased turnover and an inability to hire people to replace them. Companies that cannot or choose not to adapt to the new reality will burn. Refuse. Get another job that's closer to home. Quiet quitting might be the solution. Your boss has swallowed the propaganda that WFH employees are overall less productive and less happy. Don't go in and wait for him to fire you while you look for a remote position. If he complains, tell him the vacation is over and you are going to work for a company which respects its employees' work quality, independence and work ethic. Show your boss the time to travel, costs that will be incurred, and ask how the company will be paying for these. Put your foot down and tell him you expect to be compensated for your travel time as it's now become a work requirement. Also make it crystal clear that due to the new time to travel, you'll be cutting back on any overtime to ensure that you're able to get home at a reasonable hour to manage your home. Unless he agrees to the above, tell him thanks but no thanks, continue to work and start looking for a new job. You forgot to add 1.5 additional non-paid hours a week that could have been productive hours. The boss has to justify his position. Can't boss people around if they're not there. You can, but you can't see their reactions. I feel your pain. I had the pleasure of a 410 schedule a few years back, and with my 75-mile round-trip commute, I was saving a measurable amount in gas and time. I hope you can find something better that treats you better. Correction, my soon-to-be ex-boss. I had a boss make us come in hybrid, not even full-time. It was 3x per week. It wasn't even company policy, just his power trip. I left that job for a fully WFH job. Lol. The vacation is over, fuck you buddy, I would say. And start looking for new work. Why? That's easy. Real estate. Can't have all those empty leased buildings be anything but rat cages. Quit. There are employers who guarantee WFH. Because WFH makes him obsolete. Our CEO tried to get us back in the office. No one listened. I'm technically supposed to go in 3 days a week and haven't for months. I think they realized they can't fire such a huge chunk of their employees. Take actual vacation, find new job, never come back. Fuck that guy, person shrugging. Hey, just think about the value of their overpriced office buildings. Think of the shareholders for once, you greedy bastard. All this mental health and shit. There's shareholders' money at stake here.